we're limited to an hour, so folks, we have to start.
Okay, let's go.
Do I get one of those packages?
Well, I'll see whenever you go, I'll see it. You can
Yes.
see that.
What he's handing out, you've already got in your email, I sent it out today.
All right, yeah, let's forego approval of minutes and all of that, we'll get to that later in my remarks. Let's get right down to this presentation. You're up.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So again, Tony and Alexi, we met I think back at the summer of this year. We took back the map, so included in the package, I think is probably the best place to start, was the map that we discussed last time. With highlighting in red the segments of roadway and then circling in red intersections, I think were the biggest concern of the board. We used that, we met with the traffic consultant and reviewed those against the county's criteria for the traffic calming measures. And then kind of what we talked about was trying to break this up into maybe even different phases. We'll get to see how it goes, reduce cost if need be, and that was kind of the approach that we took with this. So it's not super red, but it's the first section that we focused on, kind of what we refer to as phase one, is the pink, orange, red section there that's highlighted, that includes around the areas around Lake Charming, Lake Drive, Bayview Drive, Laurel, and then the three intersections there that we talked about looking at sight distance and safety in those, around those, well, two intersections and then that blind turn along Bay Drive there. So the traffic engineer looked at this and said, okay, well, based upon the guidelines from Calvert County, is they would go out there and they would do basically capture traffic counts and volumes for those roadways, and basically take that information and evaluate that against the Calvert County's neighborhood traffic management plan, and basically come up with what their findings and kind of what they believe needs to be addressed just based upon traffic counts and kind of again following the county's criteria. So that is, so the traffic consultant, so there's two parts of the proposal here. So there's the traffic consultant that we typically work with, Lenhart Traffic Consulting, and then there's the COA Barrett proposal. So for phase one, it's their task one that they have there, and what we had listed as priority area one. So for priority area, so in short, the traffic consultant would go out there, they would actually take traffic counts, see kind of what the prevailing speeds, things like that would be on those roadways, and make a recommendation from that side of it. From the COA Barrett side, we were actually putting together and going out and testing sight distance for people that are pulling up to a stop sign, whether or not they could see how far away they could see compared to how fast the traffic is driving, and then also around that curve, stopping sight distance on Bay Drive. So if someone was in the road around the corner and you're doing 25 miles an hour, do you see them in time according to standards to be able to stop in time? So they refer to it as stopping sight distance. Any questions kind of on that so far?
No.
Okay. So that same approach then was applied to the blue area here, and same thing where the traffic consultant would be doing traffic counts, kind of their analysis that they would be doing, and then for us it was just that one intersection that we would be looking at sight distance, stopping sight distance, and what's coming up to that area. So same, kind of the same approach, just broken out into a different area. And then the third area really was more along the lines of the yellow area there. Really didn't identify any intersections that we were looking to kind of evaluate. It was more just along the lines of how much traffic is going through there and how fast are they really driving. So that's how the three areas were broken out, kind of what would be done. and then what we would be delivering back from a combination of actual field survey as well as the traffic counts and traffic studies would be a report and recommendation of like, hey, this is what we believe needs to be done, and we would present that to the county to get their concurrence with any type of improvements or, you know, traffic mitigation that you would be looking to do at that point. So, more and so, it's really, you know, biggest thing is the scoping effort kind of inside of the guidelines of the county to say, hey, look, there is, you know, here's the data that there really is a problem or not a problem, you know, versus it being perceived and why we believe something needs to be done.
So,
Go ahead.
you know, yeah, I was looking at how this is priced out. So in essence, what we're looking at for task one, for the three intersections, or, yeah, for the three intersections down here, that's your task one. So that, and that is also task one from the Lenhart traffic people. So the total cost of that would be, well, what is it?
Right,
About
roughly
10
$10,000.
About 10 grand, right?
And that is the approach, you know, so we wanted to give a realistic budget. I mean, I can tell you more so on the side of the COA Barrett proposal, like if you look at each of those 1 through 5 under item A, right? So under item A is priority area 1, and then there's 5 tasks that are individually on there. And you can kind of see it's, you know, $450, $1,960. So the way we prepare our estimates is we actually look at, you know, hourly rates and of the people that we would expect to be doing it. So that you know, I have more control over that part of it for us. Is that's how I came up with those numbers, right? Is, you know, records research is pulling all the different GIS data, things like that, like maps and things like that that we would need to do the field survey. The field survey is actually our field crew going out there, setting up with their instruments, measuring that information, and then bringing that back to the office. And then compiling that data is the base file development that is there. And then the report and findings is us taking the Lenhart traffic consulting part of it, our findings from the survey, compiling that all together and almost like a deliverable to you. First, to review, make sure that we're all on the same page. And then the project coordination and meetings is then bringing that to the county, submitting that to them, and any correspondence that's gone back and forth. So Tony.
So, you know, just so I'm, you know, and as much as I worry about all of this, I also worry about a bottom line.
Of course.
And so what we're looking at is roughly 26, 27 grand just to find out what we need. And anything that we want to install is over and above that.
Correct. So what the approach that, and again, what, you know, for the COA Barrett side of things, the approach that I took was to do it as a time and materials not to exceed, right? So I went through, did a pretty detailed estimate of, again, of hours and number of folks that I thought would need to get it done. You know, the approach would be is that we would only ever just bill the time, the exact amount of time that it would actually take to do these things. So I can tell you is like the field survey for phase 1 was about a day and a half worth of time for the field crew to come up, set up those intersections, measure things off. See that if they got it done in a half a day's worth of time, you know what I mean? And, you know, so there is some level of trust there. I would tell you is that we're busy enough, we're not trying to milk a job like this, and our people are efficient and know what they're doing. I wanted to give you a good look about what I thought was a worst case scenario, and obviously the goal would be to try to come in underneath of that.
Low.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're having this meeting.
No, well, no problem.
No, because I mean, I read everything in advance, but I missed that Lenhart's was separate
Yeah.
from, you know, this. I mean, I saw it, but I just didn't, I'm reading it on my computer. And that's not always good, to get it here in front of you.
Sometimes it's
Oh,
better to
yeah.
print out.
Yeah,
Well, and-
so, thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and I think that, you know, for us normally what we would do is we actually would be taking and building Lenhart into our proposal. and kind of adding on, you know, tacking onto that, just kind of like a general contractor would, is, you know, for managing them and kind of dealing, you know, with all that side of it. And, you know, one, I don't want, you know, I know budget's a concern, right? And it's, you know, wanna help you guys out, we know this is a public, you know, safety concern for you guys. And, you know, it just didn't seem necessary to do that in this case, is, you know, any of my time that I'll, you know, kind of be working on this, I'm gonna do my best to keep that off the books. I work enough time that I can do that. It's the staff and everybody that work for us that I, you know what I mean, we've gotta pay them and make sure that it's taken care of.
I had a stupid question.
Mhm.
And again, this was just looking, when I was reading all this today, and thank you for sending it to us.
Oh,
That was really
Well,
helpful. But-
Sorry it wasn't to you sooner.
No, that's absolutely fine. Because I was interpreting the circles, because I couldn't tell on that itty bitty map on my iPad, that was gonna be where we would do the calming, and that's actually the intersections. So how do you all determine where the calming areas would go? And I realize I'm jumping ahead here.
No, that's a
But,
great question.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that would come out in this.
In the
work-
report,
work that
yeah.
you're doing. Gotcha,
Yeah, we would make recommendations for that. So
okay.
on the surveying side of it, it is fairly straightforward to be like, can we see or not, right? The distance that we're supposed to see. So site distance is typically somebody, like, take an intersection. If you're pulling out of an intersection, you're making a left-hand turn.
Uh-huh,
Is your eye height is 3.5 feet tall, and you're trying to see an object in the road that's 3.5 feet tall.
Mhm.
And depending on how fast people are driving or what the posted speed limit is how far you need to be able to see according to.
oh, that's great, that's a good
So-
example.
Right.
So if you're turning off Huron, left on Lake,
Can you
That's-
see far enough and that's the hard part right now, is without knowing how much traffic there is, how fast people really are driving. Because I think what I took away from our last meeting is, yeah, it may be posted at 25, but people aren't driving 25 either.
right.
So then, you know,
I do.
sorry.
In fact, I drive between 20 and 25.
So when so when we look at something like that, we're gonna take it and say, okay, this is how far we can see, but hey, based upon the traffic consultant's information, this is how fast people are driving through this area.
Right,
So if I can't see as far as I need to, they're like the complete different ends of the spectrum about how do you fix it. Do you realign the roadway to a point where you can see better?
yeah,
Or do you then choose to put traffic calming in that's leading up to that intersection that slows people down to where they're driving at a speed that you can see them
yeah.
to safely make that decision? So
Yeah.
that's actually, I mean, that's a really great example, it's a great question about how it all kind of gets put together at the end.
And all of this is county, isn't
I think all of this
Is
is
it?
private.
No.
no, it's
Oh,
all
it's
private,
private?
it's all
Yeah.
ours.
it? It is ours.
County's only, Beretta Boulevard, a portion of Chestnut,
That's
a
where I got a
portion
little
of Dogwood.
Yeah, I got a little confused, because I knew Beretta was
Correct.
county, and then I was talking to myself and saying, no, okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
But even though it's ours, we have to go through the county
For
for all of the
permitting.
permitting, just like you were building a house or anything else.
Right.
I got it, okay, thank you.
Any questions from folks online?
And I know you guys probably wanna talk about this without me in the room too, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, if something comes up between, after I leave and you guys talk about something, you wanna send a question to me, I'm happy to answer it for everybody.
Sure.
And I think that that's the other part of it, is with it kind of being broken out into different phases or different priority areas, if we wanna start one, it's like, hey, this is the biggest concern for us now, but, you know, before we go spending all of the money, let's see how one of these sections go, and kind of what the results are from that.
So could we split it up into fiscal years?
You could, yeah.
And would that increase the cost,
No.
like getting the crew back out here in a different time frame?
Not at all. So
Okay.
the approach that Nick Driven is, works for Landmark Traffic Consulting, so Nick was who I was working with on this, and he and I both took, talked about, we both took the same approach to say, well, let's scope it in a way that if we had to come back out every time, right? Now, if we came out and did it all at once, there's obviously gonna be some efficiencies in that, where we have to
Right.
get it done sooner, which again is just kind of more to that fact of like, hey, took a worst case scenario with the proposal side of it. If you break it over multiple years, I mean, we're gonna honor it and just, you know.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a guesstimate or anything, what it costs to put in a speed bump or a speed table, what
A
hump?
mesa,
A mesa, whatever they're called.
I don't, honestly.
So, Tony, Steve, our project manager, Steve, had Shehai paving priced that, just sort of
Okay,
in general, what would you estimate? And that was a few years ago, it was $2,000.
For the
For the,
hump,
for the,
for the,
well, for the mesa,
for
whatever
the
you call
mesa.
it. I imagine
Okay,
it's
so
similar.
the-
or they're just, I assume they were just building up the asphalt to kind of do
Yeah.
that.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
Yeah, so but then the speed bump would be less.
I have no idea,
Probably.
but that's what he came up
Right.
with.
So there is some practicality in it of like, hey, let's just install something and see if it helps versus going through the cost and the effort of this.
Well, we have to get approval from the county regardless, so
That
you
is-
can't, it has to be
Yeah,
justified.
you can't just put them in.
Yeah.
That is the
Right,
that is
right.
the biggest challenge,
Right.
right? So, you know, you could always plead your case, I mean, I'm not trying to talk myself out of work, but
No, I.
you could always go and plead yourself case to the county and be like, hey, look, I went and did our due diligence, we got a proposal from this, we met with everybody for it. And it's like, I can go and install this, like, you know, like, we live here, we know there's a problem,
Uh-huh,
right? And especially since they're a private road, you can make a case to say,
one would think, yeah, one would think.
Shouldn't think.
don't think logically, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I will tell you is that is usually the biggest thing, right? Is when we go and ask as a consultant or as a professional engineer and they, you know, it's a lot easier for them to tell us no to have to then come to a meeting or send somebody else.
Tell
Oh, well, this is, yeah.
Say no than it is to say, hey, look, like, we're an HOA on a limited budget, like, we really just wanna like do the right thing, but, you know, we don't wanna spend more money evaluating it than it really would be just to install it.
Right, right.
So, and again, I'm not, I mean,
I understand.
that's all
Yeah.
that's all part of the decision process,
Mhm.
totally get it.
Right.
You know, tried to be, I kinda knew that the cost was gonna be part of the discussion. You know, it is, right, and I tried to be, that's why I wanted to break individual line items out,
That's
so
a
you
good
could
way to
see
do it.
that. And then just, I tried to be as diligent as I could about the cost, but I don't wanna tell you it's gonna be $1,000 and then come back later.
Right.
And I'd rather go the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right.
All right.
Does anybody have any other questions?
I have one, and it's not really related to the study itself, but regarding speed bumps and speed mesas, the mesas, whatever you want to call them. Does anybody have any experience about how they interfere with snow removal?
That is always a concern, so, it's a great question. So background for me is I spent 9 years working at Pax River, and one of my duties there was as the traffic engineer, so that, they wanted to do that very, you know, for all their crosswalks going across the main roads on the base, and that was always a concern. They did install speed humps, not necessarily the mesas, and they made them through, you know, a couple winter seasons without it. I think it's just, there are some guidelines, I think, for that where you're tapering those edges out enough to where a snowplow, you know, is not going to immediately, like, hit something that's so abrupt. And I think the other part of it is education, and even just like State Highway does, is they put stakes there to let you know that there's an obstruction there, when they're doing it, right? So, just out of curiosity, a follow-up question would be like that, is when you guys, are doing contracts for snow removal and stuff, like, do you make them drive all the roads and everything first?
So we've used the same contractor for a number of years.
Okay.
And the county made us, because we have a special tax district that pays in part for our snow removal, made us go out for requests for proposals last year, which I did.
Okay,
Only one person responded. I think I put out 5 requests. Only one, no, 2 responded, excuse me, 2 responded, but only one was within our budget and reasonable. It's the same
Right.
one we've been using and so on and so forth.
imagine that.
So they know the roads reasonably well.
Right,
But the problem, I think, with a contractor like that versus state highway, these are not, they hire people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you need a job? Oh, come work
Yeah,
for
you
us
wanna
for
make
this
some extra
winter,
money
you wanna
this
make some
winter.
extra
Yeah.
money, you gotta plow, all right, let's go. And that's great, because that's how we save money, I think, and they do the best job, I think, that they can. I think they're very good, very responsive and so on. When I call and say, hey, you missed a street, they're right back out there. But, you know, Joe Smith that just got hired, does he know the roads?
Right,
At
Well-
2 in the morning when they're plowing often?
right, and they've been doing it all day, right?
Exactly, yeah.
No, and I think, you know, going back to it, some of it I think is the design of it, the installation of it, to try to
Right.
avoid that. And I'm not a huge fan of signs, right, because after a while, you have so many signs that are people
Ignore
just,
them.
that people ignore them all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that is also what the base did, is at those bumps that they put in, they put signs next to
Right.
it that said speed bump.
Yeah,
So to make, I think, drivers and,
yeah.
snowplows and everything.
Ambulance, all.
Yeah.
We could use the Caribbean signage, sleeping policemen.
Perfect.
That's what they're called.
Oh, okay. Well, there we
Sleeping
go.
policeman.
All right, let's do that.
Laying there, yeah, so.
Oh, anyway.
That's funny.
So,
Oh.
well, this isn't actually a question, it's more for your benefit and a little bit for mine. So I assume that we as a board would vote it first and then we would take it to the annual meeting or the member meeting, or do we even know?
I would think that we would put it in the budget and see if it gets
Yeah, I
approved.
don't, I don't know how we would, I don't know why we would have to take it to the
Okay,
general
all right,
membership.
well, and I don't know
directly.
either, but I just thought I'd ask
Yeah,
a
you
question.
would-
I'm only doing this for you because, so that you know that we have sort of a
That process.
timeline
Right.
here.
Yeah, but I think, like Rhea said, we put it in the budget,
Uh-huh.
and then
And
you
it's
know
fine.
somebody's gonna
Mhm.
say, hey, what happened here?
Right.
Well, yeah, because the people that live over on Deer Drive, for example, just not picking on you, you know that. But they could care less what's happening
That's
over
right, that's
here.
Well,
right.
right,
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
right.
right.
Or what?
Care less
You know,
about what's
care-
happening over here.
Oh.
Place.
So they
Yeah.
might not be willing to pass, they might hypothetically, let me use no knee lane or something. They would say, I'm not gonna
Well,
vote for that, you
right.
know.
Mm.
It doesn't affect me.
Exactly right, exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah, okay, I just was
Well,
trying to get a.
And just to add on to that a little bit, right, is the other thing is asphalt plants are gonna close in the next month,
Right,
right? So I think the target in this case would be, you know, sometime after the weather breaks.
the
again.
target would be next fiscal,
Yeah,
Correct.
because this is not in this year's budget.
Yeah.
It ends in June, and we did not, obviously
Yeah.
not plan on this,
Okay,
so no.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
No.
we could be at a point that if we were diligent about it, come June and gets approved, that it could be installed before
Right.
next winter still.
Right,
We
right.
still have enough time to do
Yes,
that,
yes.
so.
okay, all right, thank you. I
Right.
love
Yeah, thank you.
timelines.
Any
You're
other
welcome.
questions?
Be something to shoot for.
Anything
Yeah.
from the TV? No?
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
No
Thank you very
problem.
much.
You guys have a wonderful holiday season,
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
and
you too.
I'll be around if you need.
All right,
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for all your help.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And you want to get right to the?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. Do you get notified when there's accidents in Drum Point?
No,
You don't?
no,
Is there any way we could figure out how many accidents we have in Drum Point?
I guess I could call the sheriff's office and find out.
They could send a record. I'm just wondering.
Well, you know, I read part of this, it said they were talking about 1,500 vehicles, the standard. Where was it? Was it in the other guy's proposal?
Probably the traffic engineer, I
Yeah,
would think.
they were talking about if they have, oh, here it is. Whether the average daily traffic volume exceeds 1,500 vehicles per day.
And that won't, of course.
Oh, or if the peak hour volume is greater than 150 vehicles for the roadway.
I would say not.
I don't think it's
No,
gonna happen.
neither.
And then the other one is whether the 85th percentile speed on the street segment exceeds the posted speed limit by at least 10 miles per hour. I
Well,
don't think,
they did a study on Lake years ago, and it did not.
Well, and didn't when we had the sheriff's office come out over here on Beretta? It didn't,
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
so this may not fly with the county anyway.
yeah, but anyway, I think well, everybody should think about it, but what struck me is if we bite the whole apple, before we decide to do anything at all, it's gonna cost us about $27,000
Yeah.
I know.
just to find out if we should do something.
Yeah.
Well,
And we don't really have the money.
well,
Well,
when
but-
Adrian, I'm sorry,
No,
I'm interrupting. you.
I mean, I just don't see, never mind, maybe everybody just think about it.
May I also say something? I think it also, think of what it would do to the dues every year.
Oh, yeah.
It would be astronomical, and if only a couple of places are being taken care of, and most of the community isn't getting anything out of it, then it's a little.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
you know, this isn't a matter of a couple of $100 here and the folks on Deer Drive won't care. You
Well,
know,
I do because I travel back and forth.
Right.
No, but-
family here.
I should have picked on you.
well, let me pick some other road over
It
there.
doesn't matter.
But no, but even the folks on Deer Drive,
I know.
Yeah.
they're gonna, and, you know, they're gonna have to pay too, and it doesn't do anything for them.
Well,
And it's not, it's,
people also complain, so why am I paying for the beach? I never use the beach.
Well,
I mean, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is the same.
No,
but
but it's
the amount of
available
money
to
is
you.
higher. You know, it's by,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
volume.
the
And
jetties.
read the beaches, you have the potential to use the beach.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
But
The
the-
potential
Anyway.
drive on that drive.
Doesn't-
I just wanted to say one other thing before we get too far, because I want to make sure we have time for Surf Street. Adrian had voiced concern about liability. What if we have the study done and then we do this section, but not that section?
Mhm.
Could we be held liable if there's now an accident on that section? And so I did talk to, I emailed Amber Bryant, the attorney from Pickett Law, and this was her response. If you spend money on a study, then usually you should follow through with recommendations, unless the cost would be too much of a burden on the community, or you involve the entire community and the majority do not want anything implemented. Communities are never immune from liability, no matter which route you decide to go. However, a hospital, and I told her that Adrian was administrator, whatever, at the hospital, a hospital that services hundreds of members of the public choosing not to spend money on traffic calming is not the same as a small HOA making fiscally responsible decisions.
Okay,
So I thought that was a good,
And,
good decision.
good decision, yeah.
and I think in our case, the study is gonna cost more
I
than the
know.
implementation.
I know.
We're not gonna move any roads around, that's not possible. I mean, on
No.
some of these things, it dawned on me when I was looking at the map, like that curve on Bay Drive, that
Mhm.
people say, let's trim it all the way back to our, cut the trees down, don't just give them a haircut, cut them down.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's in our 15 feet, cut it down.
Well, while we're kind of staying on this subject, and I know we
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
time limit, I kind of got that, but not completely. He said something about if we went in as an association, not with a consultant,
Mhm.
and said, we would like to do this
Right.
in certain places, but we don't have a lot of money. We've got a proposal, you know, to get it officially surveyed, but if we were able to do something with your blessing
Mhm.
without spending that much money, might be another option.
Yeah, I heard the
Possibly.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
You're
did say that, he did
absolutely
say that.
And I thought,
He knows.
this is a good guy.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he said that,
Yeah.
and it's a possible
It's a
option.
possible option.
And, you know, anything else on this for today, we can carry it over to another day and discuss it in detail. Anything else?
I just think that signs would be necessary. He was,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, he was saying they wouldn't be necessary, but
Well, I don't think he was totally saying, he
No.
says, I'm not for some.
Yes.
You can get so many
The thing is, you know, we are
People
starting,
ignore them.
People ignore them.
we're
Yeah.
starting
Yeah.
to approach the point where we have signage pollution.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
really do.
yeah, but
I agree.
if it's dark and people go over there, don't realize that they've got,
Oh, you
Speed
definitely
bumps.
need signs.
You
I
definitely
think,
need
for
signs,
those.
But you
yeah.
pay them.
You
Well,
know.
you still, I think.
Or
yeah,
we
you still need a sign ahead of time.
Well, you can do what the Jesuits did to me, do nothing, I went over it, took out my exhaust manifold.
Well, there you go.
You know?
And when you say
you only do that once, let me tell you, you only do that once.
I don't know.
We've all
Well,
done
you could
it.
always maybe strike those bases.
Yeah, you'd strike
Yeah,
them
you
too,
strike
all
them.
kinds of
You
things.
do all
Maybe
kinds of
more
things.
visible.
Yeah.
All right, now, let's skip down to Surf Street encroachment. Alan, you obviously have a strong feeling about this. Tell us what you think, tell us what your point is, and we'll discuss it.
I think basically, it's clear, and we've done the survey, that this particular, Mr. Menendez is encroaching on Drum Point property. And I think it's our responsibility to, and I love the idea when you say, let's at least talk to whether it's his title company or real estate folks, we need to speak to him. But either way, he's on our property. Unfortunately, he bought something that's in the Chesapeake Bay, the best I can figure. I don't want to
Pretty
suggest I'm
close.
a surveyor.
Some of it.
And it's unfortunate as that is, it's our responsibility to the community to address it. And that either to speak to him and see if he has any recourse, or at that particular point, ask him to, get off our property. I think he's built, he's put up no trespassing signs, he's put up some fencing. All over the next 20 years, sooner or later will become his. Again, I don't want to suggest I'm a legal mind or survey expert, but I did do some research. The way he set it up, in 18 years, assuming he's been there too,
Adverse possession.
he's going to be able to take adverse possession. He's been open and he's been open and it's noteworthy. He's put up the signs and the fences. He's actively using it. So he's done everything as if it's his property, and I think we just need to address it.
Well, Mike, okay, you say he's taken over our property. What property is it of ours that he has taken over, and what would we do with that property if we evicted him from it? And why I'm asking this, if you walk around, well, my neighborhood, up here on Lake Drive, people have bushes, trees, fences in the right-of-way. Now,
Paving stones.
paving stones and all sorts of things. Now, do we go up to those people and say, hey, this is our right-of-way, get these things out of here? We don't. What happens when we need the right-of-way, we just take it out. We don't even ask, we just take it out. So he may be, I say maybe, on our right-of-way, somewhat on where Surf Street used to be. I don't know how we would determine where that right-of-way is or how much of it is still there, because we would have to determine the center line of Old Surf Street. But then it defies the logic of why are you finding the center line of a street which no longer exists. Now, I won't argue that he's probably on our right-of-way to some extent. I don't know how far. Looking at his property facing the bay, to the left, well, technically, the dry stuff there, up until where he has put the no trespassing sign, is his. Except, if we measure where Surf Street used to be, the right-of-way may be in the water. Now, what do we accomplish by saying you can't use that property? The other side of his property is the water drainage from the inland stream, whatever that is, some creek, it's got a name.
Gray's Creek.
Gray's Creek. Now that little piece of creek, I know has meandered or changed its course right at the bottom there, at least twice since I've lived here. From between the footbridge and the beach, that thing has changed course at least twice. Now, we can argue that, okay, the water is ours. There's no, I mean, the waterway, that that's ours, there's no way to get out of it. But what do we get by claiming anything else?
First, by and large, I don't think, you're using other examples of places and maybe they need to be addressed as well. I don't think as a board, I don't think it's our response, I think it's our responsibility to say, you can't, this is our property, it's not our decision to make. That would maybe be up to the community to decide, if he can or can't stay on what's our property. Why do I think that's specifically important? Because I've had our constituency come to me and say, we don't like looking at this, we don't like walking from lake to a beach or the community beach and take a look at it. There have been people that have brought it up, and I'm trying to represent them. But B, it's also, I think, premium space.
It's what?
No, no.
Premium,
no.
it's premium,
I'm suggesting, I think it is premium space.
for,
I mean, I guess
for what?
It's a swamp.
For what?
Ellen.
It is beachfront property that is walked by many people that.
No, not that piece. Not that piece.
Why?
No, if you're talking about surf, we're not talking about surf, we're talking about that little spit of land between what was surf.
No, he's talking about the beach below that.
Oh,
He's,
No, it's beachfront property.
But it belongs to him, the beachfront,
that
right
belongs to
there.
him.
yeah, a
And
corner,
the state.
technically, I don't know this, who owns the beach laws in Maryland
State of Maryland.
are very, very complicated. And in some cases, people do own into the water. Whereas in my house, I know I don't. Jack, I believe, does. And I don't know what the difference is. It's got something to do with the way your plat is drawn.
I think it has something to do with erosion as well.
Well, and in his case, I think the argument can very easily be made that he owns the into the water in front of his little,
I know that
whatever he calls
as
it.
you approach Surf from Beach Drive, the house on the right that has the swimming pool,
Yeah,
they built a jetty, or refurbished their jetty. And I was never asked about a quitclaim. So I happened to be talking to the woman, and I didn't know, and she said, I didn't even know they had done it. And she said, well, our contractor and the county told us we didn't need a quitclaim because our property line goes way out into the water. And she sent me her plat, and sure enough, it does.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing
Yeah,
all along there, those property lines go out into the water because of the erosion.
yeah,
So-
there
I
is,
think that's true.
Well, my point would be, as far as premium, when you are walking on, you could say, yes, that part is, let's just say, I'm showing a screen.
Yeah.
Part of this is going in the middle it says, but to the left and to the right respectively. When I look at what the surveyor put up the flags, that's not his, and therefore
the flags were mislabeled. He labeled some of those flags as access. There has never been an access point at that piece of land. Walking along, and then let me ask another question. If you're walking along the beach between the pirate flag house and Min Vu's house, my question is, how did you get to that beach?
I was not really, actually, now there is some way to walk, it's just the way the tides and the.
No. How did you access
But I'm talking
a serious, Alan, this is a serious question. How did you access the beach? From the property line of the pirate flag house to the Min Vu house, how did you access the beach?
I walked from Surf Street on, Miss Dorothy's property and.
Oh, so you trespassed on her property?
On by it, he means.
No, I didn't trespass because she's given me permission to walk.
Okay, all right.
So,
But not everybody else has that permission.
Well,
But my
don't like the pirate flag, quite frankly, but that's, yeah, there is a pirate flag. I don't like it, so what am I gonna do, complain?
But the thing is, at this particular point, when you're walking on that trail, and people have brought it up, when they're walking on their trail, that they have to look at this, and a portion of it is on our property.
So can I just say, if we did this, if we made him move his things back to his own property lines, the horror would still be there, and these people would still be upset about having to walk by it.
And then we just have to, and then that is what it is.
Well, we're chasing a solution that presents no change.
It does present a change. It lowers, it decreases the footprint of his particular property, which is covering up and causing, it is being looked at on a trail that is for our people.
He can still keep his boat there, he can still keep whatever he wants there, just like I have rose bushes growing on the right of way in front of my house. Bonnie, I think, has a fence planted in the right of way, and across the street,
Since the house was built.
yeah, and across the street, Carolyn Ebel has newly planted bushes right up to the street, right in the right of way. What are we gonna do, go around and tell everybody in the community they have to move everything out of the right of way? We'll have a revolution.
I think, Alan, I think you're making a big deal out of nothing. I think that little piece of land is really his. He bought this property goes into the water line, and if people want to walk on it, I mean, I don't know if it has ear rest or anything. I've seen the no trespassing sign. That's up by what's left of Surf Street, a little bit of asphalt that used to be Surf Street 20 years ago.
Well, I believe we should ask it. I like the suggestion, we said talk to your title company and or real estate agent.
What are they gonna do?
That was an agreement we had, did not get executed.
Wait a minute,
Alan,
who agreed to talk to his, who agreed to talk to a title company or real estate agent?
About 6 months ago, in a similar conversation.
Does anybody remember?
Tell him to explain.
Oh, okay.
What we had talked about, there was.
we felt he had been
Bonnie, let him
Bonnie,
finish.
let him finish.
Okay, sorry.
Mishandled. And let's talk to him and at least address and bring up the issue and see if there's any recourse for him. That was when we left it, and then not much has happened since. I brought it up again and again and again, and we find ourselves here. And that is my position. We need.
Alan, what about a quick claim? Are you against a quick claim?
Well, wouldn't that have to go to the general membership?
Sure, but it's not a big deal. I mean, people can still walk on that property because they still walk on.
Yeah, the quick claim doesn't change anything, but that's all
The
right.
bay. People still
I
walk.
would not be opposed to having the general membership vote on it.
Because, you know, a quit claim, the interesting thing about a quit claim is it gives the adjacent property owner rather unlimited access and use of the property, but it does not prevent anyone else from walking on it if they had access to it before. That's like when Min Vu got a quit claim to the beach. I could not understand for the life of me what in the world that was all about. Because she's not gonna build a dock, she's not limiting anybody's access to walk up and down the beach, but she wanted a quit claim, she got a quit claim.
Right.
You know, some of these things make no sense. Now, we can do a quit claim, or you know, the truth of the matter is, we can just ignore the whole damn thing.
I'm not in favor of ignoring it. If we were to look at a quick claim and it went to the general membership, then the general membership would make a decision and certainly I could support it if that was voted on.
You know what, yeah, there aren't enough of us involved in this conversation. Let's table it for You know what's gonna happen, I'm not gonna be here in January, and I'm probably not gonna be here in February. Mike's probably not gonna wanna do it,
Mike's not here in February.
but Mike's not here in February, so it's gonna be at least March.
Is, I guess, Jeannie and Susan, what is your feeling on it?
I think you're wasting time. I'm gonna be very blunt with you. I have listened to this conversation. I think it's like beating a dead horse. And if you were asked me to take a vote today, I would vote no action.
Oh.
Okay? So that is my opinion.
And I don't feel strongly either way, actually, right now. I'd have to see the property myself.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Whoa! I didn't know that
So-
was possible.
I just
I
think
think
we
that
should
is-
fish
But,
Yeah, people on Deer Drive, they don't go there.
so I don't feel strongly either way right now.
That makes sense, because you've not
Jenny,
seen it.
if you're gonna be down, Jenny, if you're gonna be down at the general meeting, we can afterwards, we can walk, I can walk you to it, you can come to my house, drive to my house, we'll walk it. Very close.
Okay.
You'll be
It is.
you'll be under impressed.
I might drive down there tomorrow and see,
Yeah, just come
Take
off
a little
beach on the
walk.
surf and walk out,
Yeah.
you'll see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
You'll see it, it's right there.
so.
You can either park in front of Min Boo's house and walk that way, or park around the other side and walk that way.
And I just turn right down there.
There's only one way to go. No matter which way you go, there's only one way to
And he
go.
borders, what's this little
Beach drive and
It's surf, which doesn't exist.
Sure.
surfing, what's this little, down here, out,
That's probably the bay.
what's this road down
Lake,
here?
Lake Place,
Oh, that's from,
Tony,
that's from Lake down there's the spur of Pine, and then it's down.
Okay, so I park up here and I walk down here and
I
just
know you
check
do.
it out.
I just said, I can't stand this. Yeah. No, I left the last meeting in this discussion because I thought it was such a waste of time. Yeah, so.
I agree.
All right, well, all right, okay, so
I understand Alan's concern, I
we've got another temporary solution. I'm gonna pass on remarks, office update quickly.
yes, sir. Collections for past due fees, I've got 3 additional claims ready to be filed, but I'm holding off until after Christmas, just for obvious reasons. Amount collected to date from these claims is $4,518. The marsh maintenance plan for the grasses at the beach was submitted and accepted. We have to do that for the course of 5 years.
Well, I thought they said we didn't have to do it anymore.
We can take the fence down, but I still have to prove
okay,
that those grasses are surviving and so on.
Hmm.
So I do that every year, that was my third
Okay.
one, so that was accepted. Also, I got a request from Solomon's Volunteer Fire Department for a donation. And we did vote that we would do $400 a year, but we just did a donation in April. So
To them,
To them, yeah,
for 400,
yes,
so we don't do one now.
okay. That's what I thought, I just wanted to make sure, until next fiscal year. Oh, wait a minute, that was last fiscal year. This is next fiscal year. I'm sorry, you can bring it up.
It is,
It is,
Yeah.
April was last fiscal year.
Well, then why are they so early?
because they always do
They always
this.
send out.
Oh,
Yeah.
This
you want
time.
to-
I just
Oh,
was
yeah.
confused, oh gee, it was just April, but yes, that was last fiscal year,
So
sorry
you
to waste
wanna
your
wait, you
time.
wanna pay it now, or
I'll
you
pay
wanna
it
sit?
Don't they do it twice a year?
They might, but as long as we just do it once a
We
year,
only
make
pay
sure
it
that
once
we're
a
only
year.
doing it
Yeah.
once a year, so anyway.
All right, yeah,
I
if
didn't
you-
even need to bring it up.
as long as it's the once a year, do it
Yes,
now.
so I will do that, sorry, that's all I have.
You know what, rather than go around the room, are there any committee reports that have to be made?
I was just gonna say finance, there's no operations, roads, nothing's going on there, but finance, I didn't get hold of Mike Chaconis to come in and look at the invoices, but I will do that this week.
Okay.
And, we need to start thinking about next year's budget. It's a little early, but yet, we need to start thinking, given the circumstance with Jack. And that's all I got there.
I guess that's it.
I don't have anything else.
Unfinished business, we've got a couple of minutes. Hey,
When's our meeting?
13th.
When's the the board, the general membership
December
meeting is
13th,
next
thank
Saturday.
you, I should have said
The
that.
13th.
13th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
At 10?
10 a.m.
Okay.
It's a Saturday.
GM, 10 a.m., all right.
Did you need to make a motion to approve the minutes? I don't think you did.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
you did,
we
thank
do
you.
have to do that, thank you.
Mhm.
Do we have a motion to approve the November minutes?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks, Jim.
Minutes are approved, thank you very much. We ran into this a little too fast. I guess that's it then. Okay, set the January meeting. As I will be out of the country, I don't have much to say about this.
Yeah, strange sense of priorities. How can we possibly win this?
Oh, I'm gonna be in Central America,
First,
on the
I
beach
know.
probably.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good.
January
So
sixth.
January 6th is the next, oh, and I'll be out of town on the 6th. I will not be on the beach, I'll be on a snowy mountain with my son-in-law.
Well, everybody has their
Mm,
druthers.
That's not my drug, but. So, we're looking at the 13th for the meeting of January,
January 13th.
yeah. Hopefully Mike will be here because Bonnie will have to leave. Bonnie,
I'll be there.
okay.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right,
Okay, so the 13th.
Yep.
And that's it. Oh, I didn't ask, is there any new business? This was discombobulated meeting.
I know.
Is there any new business that anybody wants to bring up?
No.
No? All right, well then I thank you all for your time and patience. Look at that, we
All
still did it in under.
All right,
And I thank you all for hearing my position.
Well-
And I pleasure yours, but I appreciate the time to speak.
all right, all right.
No, everybody's got to present their position.
That's right.
All right, then I guess we're done.
All right, guys,
Okay.
see you later, thanks.
Yep.
Jenny, could you take me to